The house does not always win. It's a terrible film, and since I saw it, I've been describing it as not fun and not funny. First of all, there are no dimension to the parents. They have no hobbies besides marijuana use and not doing math very well. They have no dreams of their own except getting their daughter into college, which is one dream, but it doesn't make them three-dimensional. For example, what are their jobs? In old school, they were running a frat house at the same time Mitch and co were working. So either they took a month off from work in this film, or they did it at the same time as working. There's one scene where they ask for raises that's never elaborated on. Their daughter, who looks like Taylor Swift, wanted to take the summer off and hang out with her friends, but they convinced her to spend time with them. Obviously, the only activity they do as a family is watch The Walking Dead. But since they run a casino every night, the daughter just sits around at home, only once hanging out with her friends, and she never really addresses the fact that she took the summer off to hang out with them. While they run the casino, the rules are a big one here for me. Immediately they know all the rules to every game up front. It would have been much funnier if they didn't. A dealer, perhaps played by Jack Black, could have not known the rules to blackjack. They spend idiotic amounts of money on stuff to the point you would never make a profit. They bought oxygen tanks, for example. They should have had a buddy system for each thing, like an Ocean's 11 style recruitment video. Jason Mantzoukas' character could have said, "I know a guy that's got these lights and we can use them, but he just wants to DJ." Or, "Our friend is a bartender, but he's also trying to be a stand-up comedian, so he'll bartend for us if we let him do stand-up." More of a crew vibe, and then you would have had more subplots going on. Two people could have fallen in love. One person could have overcome stage fright. They never address how much they're paying people. They've just hired a whole bunch of dealers and dancers and bartenders. They want to get 4 years of tuition, which is apparently $500K when they split it. But they could sell their house and downsize. They've got one daughter, and if you look at the house where Amy Poehler and Will Ferrell live, it's huge. Also, if you are taking a month to get $500,000, that seems crazy. If you reduce the amount of money, when they're finally successful at the end of the film, you can have one of them say, "Well, that's the first year paid off," leaving room for a sequel. This film lacks cameos as well. I mean, how funny would it have been to see a scene where Charles Barkley is here tonight or something? You get a Shaq or a basketball player or, a professional sports person to do a cameo. Imagine if LeBron James was at one of the tables. The security on the door was a perfect opportunity for a cameo. You could have had somebody there who is just started a security company and this is like their first gig, so they're massively underpaying them or something. And I would have loved to have seen a rotating password, that they come in and say bacon and eggs, and then the next day they're saying Dikembe Mutombo, or whatever Will Ferrell wants to improvise, because he was very good at that in Anchorman. I found the fact that Nick Kroll wasn't the mayor very frustrating. He was just a councilman, which lowers the whole stakes of the film. He's just confiscating their money. And having just one cop in the whole town seems really cheap. He either should have had a throwaway line where he's talking to himself about how he is the law or something, a Judge Dredd complex. Or you should have given him a rookie partner or a female partner, or something that resembled the cops that were in Superbad. I found all of the gangster stuff didn't really work for me. Jeremy Renner's screen time is less than 5 minutes, and the fact that you're getting Will Ferrell to transform into this gangster character that wields an axe, and they're calling him the Butcher or whatever they're calling him. You could have had a gangster who's also known as the Butcher who winds up taking the fall. You could have had mistaken identity. Like there is an existing butcher in town that Will Ferrell keeps getting mistaken for, which explains why they're really afraid of him. That there's a scary gangster who's making the papers that, has that name. This also means maybe the Butcher, the gangster character, could have taken the fall for him at the end of the film. Amy Poehler's character has this insane weed addiction. What if she had smoked it with the daughter? Maybe they could have had the fact that her character became less uptight as the film went on and re-embraced who she used to be. There was no story arc for her. The film makes you forget about every injury and every repercussion that any character is affected by. These two women have a fight, for example, and one of them has a black eye. It would have been good to see some spillover into their real lives. Like if somebody's walking with a limp or has that black eye, like Fight Club, that they're questioned by their peers and you sort of have some comedy come out of that. Make it about that first year of college tuition rather than all 4 years at once. You need to have three-dimensional parents and a three-dimensional daughter, because it felt like Jason Mantzoukas' character had a wife and a story arc and was present for it. Mantzoukas nailed it here. Also, I'm not sure they investigated every avenue of getting money in this. Surely they have family they could ask, surely there's other grants they could apply for. other things they could do. It'd be funny to see Will Ferrell do a car wash or something. We'll just do a car wash. We'll raise some money. Or, enter a talent contest where there's a large cash prize. There was so much more room for comedy here. And ultimately, the premise, I believe, is the same as one episode of Family Guy, where they start a casino in Peter Griffin's basement. So this wasn't original, and it wasn't very funny at all. And I found it really hard to sit through.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeifyoucan.com.